Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Football 360 show. It is the fastest hour of football talk. 48 minutes, I guess I should say, right? It's
Fast.
been moving fast, so that makes it even faster. Happening and talking football. I am JP Rock. He is Matt Bierman. Check us out on X. Check us out on YouTube. Football360show.com. You can hear us on Apple as well as Spotify. Pretty much every kind of platform that there is, audio and video. And in St. Louis, you can check us out on 590 AM KLIS, Lou Information Station, louinfo.com on Saturday mornings at 11 o'clock. Great to be there. Great to be on radio. How you doing, Mr. Bierman?
Doing great.
Check us out on our social media as well. I shouldn't forget. JP Rock MO on X, JP Rock Scouts U on Instagram. Where can people reach you, Matt?
Elite Football on Elite Football Academy on Instagram, and on X, Elite Football.
Right. And so, so things are happening pretty good, pretty fast now. We're hitting that point where practice has started. Of course, college football practice has been going on a while. I don't know how much of that you've had a chance to do because
they're
the
full
busiest
swing.
man in football.
Oh,
right. Because so you add it to your already busy schedule. It's tough to get you any place. But we're in studio, by the way, again together for the first time in weeks.
It's good to see you.
It is good to see you.
I know. I got to tell you, you go on vacation, you come back, and it's just you get kicked in the teeth every single time.
Yeah, it's almost not worth it.
I would agree,
because you're playing catch up
and you're in a rhythm before you go. But that week before, you're kind of like daydreaming, like, okay, it's gonna be pretty good. Like I'm going, and then I love the time away, but it is right. You pay for it.
It's nice to sit there on the beach and watch, the seagulls and just the waves and stuff. But that you're right, you're paying for it.
Now I was reminded of a couple facts when I was in Gulf Shores in Orange Beach.
I can only imagine who reminded you of that.
Football is a little more serious down there than it is here.
Yeah,
just a little bit, because both the high schools there in a town of, I don't know. I mean, it swells in the summer, right?
Yeah. It's a sleepy town, though.
Sleepy town. The Orange Beach Makos just built a $64 million complex with a covered 80-plus yard field. Not full indoor, but you're down by the beach, right? So there's a breeze, and I think they have big fans in it. And a brand new stadium. They probably see about 7,000, I would say.
And how much you think that's
a new weight room, new, I think it was 64 million is what all of it was. New basketball arena, new weight room, new field house, indoor field house for a little bit of training, whatever. Yeah. And then, not to be outdone, Gulf Shores High School is building a brand new high school, and it appears they're going to have a full 120-yard indoor field, is what it looked like.
Yeah. And that's
and they do media days. Like if you just look at their social media,
their media days aren't just like, okay, we're taking everybody's picture in their uniform.
No. They were actually media was there interviewing these boys about the upcoming season. Really? And just interesting. It's always interesting to see that, right? And it's like they're not unique in the South. Like that's just part of kind of the fabric of what goes on there, right?
The culture. Yeah.
It's the culture. And so it is interesting to see that. And it's like where I would argue we probably have as good, if not better, athletes. I think the focus 100%. On football is definitely just more intensified there.
See, you're onto something, because it is the love of football. The whole football is life down there, right? It is a cultural thing. I would say you're going to produce more D1 prospects, better D1 prospects than in that little area right there. Spending $64 million on their stuff.
100%.
So that's crazy, but good for them. I wish that was going on here.
And Gulf Shores High School has their staff is full of Division I coaches. Like it's like literally Paul Rhodes used to be the head coach at Iowa State. He's the D coordinator there
because
they want to they pay.
They pay
and they want to be down by the beach, right? And so I think I think it's I'll have to look at the head coach for the Gulf Shores, but he's been a Division I head coach all over the country. Like, and I think he's got now kids that age, so he's kind of college retired, made good money. He's now making good money down there.
Right,
he's living at the beach, and they love their football.
That's amazing, man. Because I know a thing or two about where the football talent is at, and that is not necessarily a hotbed. of producing D1 talent. It's absolutely a cultural thing and just a love of football.
Yes.
And I'm sure I would love to be at one of those games on a Friday night, because I can only imagine what the atmosphere is like.
Oh my God. And yeah, like, well, Gulf Shores won 2 years ago. I think they won state. So they got, and then they had the typical, I forgot, I never saw what ended up happening, but they had the Alabama State High School Athletic Association did an investigation because there was kids that were living in an apartment complex that maybe moved in from an out neighboring town.
Welcome to football across the USA.
But that, again, I think, and that brings up a good point as to, I wonder, there's, as we've talked about, like the transfers all around the area, there's 30, 40, 50 kids that have transferred high schools. And that's coming up when a lot of these guys are going to have their hearings, because a lot of those are kind of up in the air. And I'll be curious to see, like, is MSHSAA going to be more lenient than in years past, less lenient? My gut, and again, this is coming nowhere from other than just my gut.
Yeah.
I feel as though there's going to be put the foot down and try and stop some of it. I don't know that. I've never heard that.
I feel the opposite.
I just kind of feel like it's gone on, and maybe it just continues to go on. But I do think there's I think there's enough people squawking about it, though, that it could create that snapback.
That's a difference maker.
You know what I mean? I think that's where I guess I'm kind of getting that feeling. But I don't know. That's not even talking about anybody in particular, specific, because I don't happen to know all the details, but I know a lot of kids that have moved.
Oh yeah, I think over the past couple of years they've been more lenient.
Yeah, it feels like that. Yeah, for sure.
And so my impression is that they're going to be more lenient, and it could just be specific situations.
Yeah,
it always seems like the same schools never have a problem with kids transferring in.
And here's the thing: like, there are certain schools that will remain nameless that people assume they recruit and they do this and that. And I will tell you, I have seen them be the one, if they have a kid get transferred in, they're never eligible. Like, they're not getting the benefit of the doubt. So, I don't, and they're one of the better, bigger programs in the area. And I don't see them, in my opinion, getting what I would think is like the benefit of the doubt. I think they put their best effort to try and help the kids, but there's just, like, I don't think there's any love.
It's very selective, and I don't want to make anybody mad, although I really could care less, because they have anything over me, really. But I will say that it's selective and subjective.
Oh yeah,
of who you are,
yes,
who you know, do they like it, and that's been across the board with everything that they do.
Yeah,
that's with dealing
across the state, right?
Across the state, and that's with dealing with the media. That's with dealing with everything. It's only, they only have enough love in their heart for a few, as we shall say. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be, it's coming up fast. First day of high school practice started yesterday.
Don't you love that they practice all summer in shells, helmet and shoulder pads, and
you got to go.
Most of them have girders, and now they got 3 days. We're going to go back and get back in our helmets. And it's like, again, like, come on. Like, what are we doing? Like, at what point have they not gotten together and said, hey, we allow for 20 days or whatever it might be in the summer, Missouri and Illinois. What is best for everybody? Is it to pretend that we didn't do that?
That's what's going on. I mean, it's talk about antiquated. What is that? I mean, that's like what is it, like a 50-year-old thing that they've been doing it that way?
It makes zero sense.
And just because we've been doing it that way for 50 years doesn't mean it's a good way.
Yeah, and it doesn't make, I mean, they did spring ball, which you don't have any equipment on.
Right.
Then you transition into the summer, which you can put equipment on. And you know what?
Going to camps.
They go straight. There's no break-in period with that. I have seen teams in full gear first day of summer camp.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah. Because football is a year-round sport. I don't know how many times I can say that to people, but it is a year-round sport. And so they should be ready. But yeah, I mean, you're more in tune with what's going on from that basis on a daily schedule. So I'm sure it's you already knew it, but it's even more eye-opening because you're in the inside now.
100%. I mean, I'm watching it. I just scratch my head. I can't.
Yeah.
For the life of me, understand it. But again, it's not my call. But I do find it pretty interesting.
And it is interesting. And what's crazy is a lot of teams, and I don't know if West is this way, but a lot of teams are having like little scrimmages on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Are you guys
right out of the gate? I think there's practice. I think they just have practice.
Just a practice.
Yeah.
And so there's that. And you're right. It's right out of the gate. And this has been going on. And even the incoming freshmen, they've been padded up. They've been going to contact camps and scrimmages and team camps and all that stuff. And
I know.
so they're ready to go. But I guess it's interesting. So I mean, it's just kind of walk through and stretches and stuff, and 7-on-7 type stuff because nobody can hit
block.
Anybody.
Right. So and then there's weather today, so there'll be people that are practicing at night that have to go indoors now, and the whole. But if you had your covered field, right?
Down in Nixa,
they're in air conditioned.
Smithville, I think it is, has interesting areas.
Cape Central has a smaller indoor, but it's nice, like 40 yards or so.
I wonder if they could like pop over to SEMO, get some indoor stuff in inclement weather.
Here's the thing. We need more of that in our area. I don't know if that's going to come real fast, especially with our larger districts. You're a Rockwood school or a Howell district. Are they going to put 4 of those up? No. I mean, come on. That's not happening.
What it is you and I need to find somebody who will cut a big check.
Yeah.
And we open one that
they're gonna put one down the street from here where we're at, and it's be for soccer and hockey.
I saw that. Yeah. I saw that, and I was like, that's interesting. And I guess I know how soccer and hockey cost a lot of money. So I guess that's
hockey's the one that is the captive audience. Basketball is captive audience.
Yeah.
Football and soccer, unfortunately, like what I've found is especially with soccer, as soon as February hits, they're back outside. They are not worried about being outdoors, and I will give them that. Like they will play in all types of weather.
Similar to football, yeah. But hockey, I mean, I think with hockey, I think it's like $5,000.
Oh yeah.
If you want to play hockey, your kid want to play hockey, so it probably eliminates a lot of guys. So I mean, I guess the financial benefit is there to open up a facility.
Yes.
For those two things. But yeah, we just need a big donor to cut a check for, and everybody can use it. What do you think?
Endowment.
Like
we need an endowment, right?
Endowment. There you go. 4 fields.
That's fine.
Be nice. Right? A little workout area. That way 4 teams can practice at the same time. Just rotate them in and out. That'd be beautiful.
That would be unbelievable.
That would be.
When we win the lottery, that's happening. How about
that's happening. Mark that down.
Yeah.
And of course, Mizzou football's been going strong here for a couple weeks, and very interesting. I don't know how much you've been paying attention to what's going on up there or not.
I've been watching. I'm trying to read the tea leaves with their media releases. Yeah. And it's like it's funny. They show both quarterbacks.
That's obfuscation, man.
And then they kind of sprinkle in the third, right?
Yeah.
Like every once in a while, like to keep giving them some love. But it's really interesting to listen to
Drink
talk about the scenario, right? And I think I have no way of knowing other than just kind of watching what I'm watching, and I bet they go into week 1 with 2 quarterbacks.
They're both going to play, and that's pretty a guaranteed thing, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason that he just said the other day, there's no separation. Well, you're that close, and there's no separation. That means to me, unless something happens within the next couple of weeks, you're going to play both quarterbacks. Now, personally, from watching it, I think Pribula is the guy. I think he's going to be your number one. In fact, the scrimmage that they had, he was running the number ones. And just in watching them in practice, watching the throws that I've been able to see, what I like about Bo is that he plays fast. And I love quarterbacks that play fast, right? But you got to play fast and be under control and be accurate.
Yeah.
The biggest difference I see so far is Sam Horn. I see a lot of baseball player playing quarterback, whereas Bo, these are quarterback moves, right? He gets where he's supposed to be in a hurry. His
movement wise, he is more reminiscent of a Brady Cook, who's Brady's not a small guy, but they're more compact, like they're athletic, like not to say not to say that Horn's not, but Horn's a longer, lankier. He's thicker, driving balls in there, but they're into coverage too, right? From what I've seen.
Yeah. And the biggest thing I think, and you're the guru, so you can tell me about this regarding quarterbacks, is movement and speed at which you play, especially on that level, is huge.
Twitchiness, man.
You got to be twitchy. And when you see somebody, and I don't want to denigrate nobody, but I know you know what I'm going to say. I see a little bit of lumbering, right? And you cannot take your time. This isn't you on the mound.
That is the shift in quarterback play that we have seen over the last probably 5 to 8 years, where you're seeing more compact, mechanical, less big, long guys. Yeah, there's Josh Allen's and guys like that, but he also can run, right? Guy's he's a little different. But even Mahomes isn't a gigantic guy, right? It's the ability to create, the ability to get the ball off your hand when you need to. But I call it like twitch, right?
Yeah.
Do you have it or not? And so if you watch, Pribula definitely has more twitch, right? Brady was kind of that same way. Just and those guys, I'd love to see what their force plate scores are. And kind of see where those guys, come on,
put them in a car. Yeah.
So, but I do think that there's obviously the side of, Horn probably has a lot of guys on his side because he's been there with them, been through a lot.
Yeah.
But it's also at the same time, they did Horn no favors the last couple of years because, well, he was hurt last year, but when he lost out to Brady 2 years ago, whatever it was, they didn't even sprinkle him in after that. Like they did not. And I struggle with that with quarterbacks too. Like if you have an opportunity to get somebody in a game, and it's like what they say in boxing, all fighters must protect themselves. So you put a guy in a game, you're not trying to run the score up, but you're also trying to get somebody experience. So if you're losing, the gloves are off anyway, right? Yeah. But if you're winning and you can get a guy in the game and get him some seasoning without trying to rub your opponent's nose in it. But like, again, all fighters have to protect themselves. They're big boys. They're playing a multi-million-dollar game, and, get the guy in there and get him some reps. And I think that he probably has fallen victim to not being prepared as much as you think he would be as someone that's been there as long as how long he's been there 4 years.
He's been there 4 years, and I'm not familiar with where he's at injury wise or any of that. You know what I mean?
We're not even familiar with his game.
We're not. And so I'm just going by what I've seen in practice. And in practice, it just, Bo is faster. And I like guys that play fast, controlled. You got to be controlled, right? You can't just be out there,
dealing.
Wheeling and dealing out there making stuff up. But I and how it is. If you're playing at that game speed that I'm seeing in practice, you're going to get sacked. You're going to get balls batted down. You're going to put your receiver under the gun, right? Because he's going to be open, waiting, and it's going to allow coverage time to catch up. So right now, I think it's Bo, right, and he's running with the number ones.
That tells a lot too. Like if you watch, like even in the NFL preseason games. How they sort their guys in. So like we'll use Brady Cook as an example. So you don't know how Brady's doing because he's in his first NFL training camp. He's 3 weeks in?
Yeah.
You don't know how he's doing, but they gave Justin Fields the first drive, which is customary of the starters, depending on how guys do it. They gave Brady Cook the second drive. Well, what does that tell you? That tells you that Tyrod Taylor is most likely the number 2, who doesn't need a ton of preseason. He's been doing this a long time, and he's a backup.
They're taking a good look at Brady,
right? Yep. So if Brady's getting the 2 reps, that means Brady's probably edging out for number 3, right? And he's a guy that they brought in. He's their guy. He did well. He went 6 for 8 for like 60-something yards. Didn't pass a ton, right? Made some good decisions. Had a 1 chance, 2 chances to run. Nothing crazy, but as I talked to him and I said, hey, well, what would it feel like? He's surreal being at Lambeau, right? Yeah. But he did a really good job, and he said next time will be even easier, right? And I think there goes back to my point of getting guys reps when you can get them reps, and I see this in high school all too often with quarterbacks in particular. If you you can't have a short-term vision for a long-term program, right? Like, so short-term vision meaning, we're just playing, it's all this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're a program, you're building for year to year to year to year. And I think where you see these programs that have done really well, like I'll use Scott Pingle as an example. They worked in their sophomore quarterbacks last year when they have Nick McClellan, who's a damn good quarterback.
Right.
right? They work those guys in when they can. And I think, and they're not like throwaway reps.
Right.
There's some good reps in there. So you get, I think there's a way to do it where you can, not sacrifice the game, but you also are looking forward to the future because you have a senior quarterback. He's gone next year, 100% odds. He's gone, right?
Yeah.
So what were you surprised, right? So now you got to work that next guy in line. Heaven forbid something happens, right? You got to work those understudies and get those people in there. And if you don't, you are going to pay for it next year with guys making bonehead mistakes.
Yep.
So like Brady said, like I'll be better next game because I got that experience. And that's kind of, that is how I would treat my quarterbacks. And again, I understand like it's not easy sometimes with game situations, things like that, but going into games like that with in mind and how to manage it, I think would have helped Sam Horn a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what the really good programs do, especially on the high school level. You see it with like Cardinal Ritter. You were talking about CBC Cardinal Ritter. They had Antoine McKay, and they groomed Carson.
Yep.
Got him in there, got him gameplay, and here you go. He just takes off. But yeah, back to Mizzou with Sam Horn. It's going to be interesting. I know a lot of people. He has a lot of fan backing, so we'll see how that goes. Right now, if I had to pick, if I was the coach, I'd be like, okay, Bo, you're the guy. Just because I like I said, I like the game speed the practice speed. And I'm a big believer, and you probably are too. You play how you practice.
Yeah.
Right? I've never been gamers. It's like, I'm a gamer.
Things don't change.
No, I'm a gamer.
Decisions are made. Right. Obviously, you can talk in practice and and slow things down a little bit, but the reality of it is like, and have a conversation about reads or just discussion about like, shaping of routes or spacing. But at the end of the day, like either you made the play or you didn't. Right. And I think that therein lies. And when I'm dealing with my quarterbacks, that's when we're watching film or any of that stuff. That's constantly the concept of what we're trying to get them to understand is like, okay, hey, what were you thinking? Why? And then how do we improve upon that? And then how do we not make that mistake? Or how do we make that great read again? Right. And it's a constant, like, the conversations I have with the quarterbacks that we train and that I'm helping in high school is significant. Like, because like they have to understand, like a lot of times, and then JP, to your point, to think that they instinctually move fast is not necessarily true because they are processing so much information, especially the younger ones because they're still trying to learn the flow of the game and the practice. Not even necessarily the game of football, the game that's being played, learning a new offense, the game that's being played with the practice style that they're not used to. Things like that weigh into it. But me as a coach, I don't want to hear any of that, right? I want to match my eyes and my feet to the concept that we have. And so I think, like yesterday, for instance, I there was a drill going on and I jumped in because I heard something and I thought, they were talking about drop depth. And I'm like, no, I don't care about the drop. I care about where are your eyes, where are your feet, and how are we progression through this mesh, right?
And I think that's going to probably be a thing for Sam Horn. He's going to be behind it. So we're gonna talk more about that. But like I said, check us out on X, on YouTube, Football 360 Show, and of course KLIS 590 AM on Saturday mornings, 11 AM. It's going to be fun, especially during the football season.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to be tuned in. Check it out. New information station. And so Sam Horn, I think it's going to be more difficult for him. He is going to be behind it for that reason that you said. And I'm not familiar with how much game experience Bo had, but I think he had
a little, not a ton.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably more than Horn.
Right, and that's every little bit helps, right?
Yes, it does. And so and who's getting paid more? I mean, there's that's a consideration. Right. I mean, like that happens in the NFL.
That's going to be a thing. And if you get a chance, try to find some clips of Horn out there just in practice or from scrimmage or what, and see what you think.
Yeah.
Because, and I know you know what I'm talking about when I say I see some baseball, right?
I saw some of they did their little documentary, which was like a nice little 8-minute film. It was pretty cool. They do Mizzou's social media and media people are doing a great job. They do a really good job of like tracking kind of the program where it's at. Obviously they're spinning a narrative, right? Which everybody does. But I 100% agree. Like you could tell, and it's tough. Like if you're not like training, and I think people don't understand that's like he's doing baseball and he's doing football.
Yeah.
But he's not going to practice to work on his mechanics.
And you notice his mechanics.
They're not like
right.
that's not what they do. Like with all due respect to all the college coaches out there, like I've had my fair share of conversations with guys that, that's not what they do.
Right.
They are play callers. They are execution guys. They are people who are focused on managing a position group to make sure that they do their job.
Yeah.
And so like mechanics is something that is like, you're supposed to know how to do that, right? Yeah. Like a car mechanic is supposed to know and has been trained how to fix certain things. The service manager wants to make sure that car's getting done on time, not telling you how to do it, just get it done.
Yeah, you learn on your own and come in.
That's how it works.
It's modern day, 100%. It did. I mean, years ago, the last guy who probably I know Bush put in some time with guys. Dave Yost put in a lot of time trying to get his quarterbacks right, and he had a pretty good group, so his track record was pretty good.
Yeah,
with what he did, but I don't know about now. I do.
It's just the time. I don't think they have enough time. Like it's like it's interesting. Like there's just not, and a lot of what you hear from the college quarterback coaches, if you will, like is very anecdotal. Like there's not a lot of science behind it. There's not a lot of like, hey, it's a lot of like this is kind of like what they heard or what they've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's funny. I heard someone the other day talking about, I forgot who it was, but they were talking about. And we learned from Tom Brady to keep your left arm in, or I was thinking, well, I could tell you this: since 2006, when we got a 3-camera system and we were filming guys, I can promise you, it was figured out in 2006. Like, and they were talking about Brady. That was like a something he learned late in his career. I'm like, because he talks about keeping it in, and I was like biting a hamburger, like that's stuff that's been taught in our facility since 2006. I can tell you. I had an epiphany.
You mean Tom didn't innovate that?
No, and he got that from a guy that's a pitching guy that's really interesting. It's the guy that's out in California. But I would say who's more of a pitching guy, to be honest with you. That's what he's got his background's in pitching, which pitching and passing are two totally different things. That's why they have two different names.
Right. I see and that's the thing with Horn. I see him, he could pitch the ball.
Yeah.
Right. I see that.
That's why he got drafted.
Right. I see that movement. And so it'll be interesting to see. I think that it'll be a wake-up call in live game situation. And I think you might see both of them, but I could see some separation happening once the season starts. And I'm not saying that Bo's going to lead him to the promised land or anything, but right now he looks like he's the guy. And so far it seems like Drink is kind of doing that. And like I said, running back, Ahmad Henry is really doing well this past scrimmage on Saturday. They didn't even play him because they know what they got, right?
That's a good sign.
That is a good sign. He's tearing guys up, right? Who are tackling him. Jamal Roberts is going to play. I know they played that freshman Marquise Davis a lot, right? But again, it goes back to what you were talking about with Brady Cook and other guys. They want to see what they got. But St. Louis and Jamal Roberts is going to do really well. Kevin Coleman, another St. Louis guy. Josh Manning, Kansas City guy who came into the elite combine, tore it up then, knew he was going to be a guy. And then is it Marquise Johnson? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
They've got a pretty good group of receivers. So
man, that one last year was just so good. It's going to be hard to but they got Brett Norfleet back healthy.
Jude James it looks like he's going to play. So they're going to have the past two tight ends from Francis Howell are going to be getting. But Jude's going to be more of a passing guy. They've got some guys who are more blockers.
Jude, what's he weighing now? Probably 230-ish?
235 the last time I saw. 6'3", 235. Kind of an H-back tight end guy. But I mean, as far as a receiver,
total hybrid guy. He was just such a great athlete. Funny story. Years ago, probably 4, but before his senior year, we were out of the field training, and we had Marco Sansone was throwing, Ryan Wingo, kid named Ryan Wingo, pretty good kid. And then Jude James, and I think I forgot who else it was. But those three played junior football together for Chesterfield Bears.
And
Jude was buddies with them, but I think Ryan and Marco have been together a bunch because they've been playing in high school. So they just kind of got the band back together. So we were out there training, and Marco had not seen Jude in a while, right? And Jude was always good growing up.
Yeah.
But he had blossomed into an animal, right? This is before their junior year because he had not been offered yet. And I remember like him, like Marco being like, holy cow, is he fast? Ryan's fast, right?
Yeah.
But Jude was out there tracking balls. I mean, and you could tell at that time, I'm like, oh, he's going to be a dude. Like this guy is.
I'm 6'2"
and then Mizzou offering him made total sense.
Right. And it's not like he had a ton of offers.
Yeah.
So they saw it. They saw what he was capable.
And it was a great evaluation, whoever did it.
Right.
Smart.
And especially because, in covering his recruitment, he was telling me back then what they had planned for him, what they were going to do with him. And I'm like, that makes sense. They saw that the physicality, the frame, that he was going to be able to be that bigger guy. Because you're talking about going into his junior year, he was only like 190 pounds, something like that.
But if you looked at his frame,
correct,
you watch him track balls, you're like, oh, this guy could play on either side of the ball.
Exactly.
Funny story about that day too. I had brought my little guy Braden along because we were going to throw afterwards, and they were like, "Oh yeah, hey, you get in here. We're doing goal line stuff, right?" Yeah. And so he's like, probably 6th grade at the time, ish, and he got to throw the ball back then, to Ryan Wingo, Jude James, and there was someone else. I'm forgetting who it is. Stud, right? Someone's at a high level school. But you look back at like experiences like that as a little guy. And you're around guys who are positive and like those guys could not have been any nicer to him.
Yeah.
But you learn as a quarterback or as a receiver, those are really cool times when you're on the field, not just throwing to throw, but training and developing and sharpening each other, right?
Yeah.
And testing the boundaries that, for young guys, I just can't impress upon you. If you ever get those opportunities, you got to take them. You can't sit back and go, I'm not ready. You got to dip. You got to get out there and you got to get yourself out of it. And I don't know if I talked about it last week, but when I pulled up a film and a young Kyron Williams and a young Tony Adams out there running routes, and Kyron Williams just signed a $30+ million contract with the Rams.
Man,
which
I'm so happy for him.
Such a big deal.
That's awesome, especially when you think about like with what we do, knowing them when they're little kids, right? Yeah. He was a little kid. He was there with his mom, and they were worried about. I guess I can say it now. They were worried about Mizzou. They really were interested in Mizzou, wanted to go to Mizzou, and they weren't getting any attention from Mizzou. And I'm like, it'll come. Well, it came late.
So
by that time, Notre Dame had pretty much sealed the deal.
So Mizzou came in late, right? And I won't divulge all of it, but a local media person, corporate media, TV.
I was gonna say, man, I know TV, what you're talking about.
Basically chimed in and was like, "Hey, you really need to go to Mizzou, and if you don't go to Mizzou, people are gonna forget who you are."
Yeah.
Right? Like they're not gonna know who you are. And I remember the mom got really like it ticked her off, which I put it, and it's like, you go to Notre Dame, you're gonna be a dime a dozen. You stay home, which I get. There is a certain you can have the Brady Cook thing where or Cody Schrader where you're home and you become a big deal, but that's few and far between. Right. But I think it worked out well for him. I think it's worked out well for Jeremiah Love, who just signed a huge deal with New Balance.
Yeah. See, people who say stuff like that, they clearly aren't watching. They clearly don't have the ability to evaluate talent.
Right.
Okay. So,
but Mizzou had every opportunity. JP, I brought him up when he was a ninth grader, rising ninth grader, and a rising sophomore. I talked specifically to their main guy, and they had offered a teammate of Kyron's who ended up not doing much, but they were all over him and ignored Kyron. And this guy is like, again, what were you looking at?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, and that guy's out of football now.
Well, yeah, right. Right.
Should have been out of football a long time ago, but he's out of football now. So, I guess he can tell people that story. I totally ignored.
Almost had a guy,
but I ignored him the first 4 years of his high school career. But yeah, good for him. So Mizzou's running situation looks like it's going to be pretty good. The receivers, the offense is pretty set, except for offensive line. And I don't know if you've been paying attention to that, but the only guy who seems like he's set is Connor Tollison, the center from Jackson, Missouri.
Coming back from a bad injury, though.
Coming back from a bad injury, right. And so they're plugging guys in. They're playing guys. Caden Green from Lee Summit came to the elite combine as a freshman.
Oh, yeah.
I spotted him and I was like, hey, buddy.
Who's that guy? Yeah.
Right. You need to come over here. And mom and dad totally in it for both their sons. Caleb's a linebacker who's looking really good, but they're left guard. They're playing him at left tackle. They're going back to that. And that's not necessarily a good sign when you're like, you already have two guys, Johnny Williams and the other guys. Jefferson might be his last name, but now you're sliding Caden over there to take another look. See,
because he was a guard last year.
He was a guard last year, yeah. And I think he played like one game for Oklahoma at tackle, but he was a guard. But you guys that you got that are both transfers, you're still seeing, okay, we're not necessarily 100% happy with what we got, and that's an important position
in the SEC. Probably besides quarterback, the most important position, right?
Oh, absolutely. So you got a brand new quarterback. You got two guys who don't have a lot of experience, and you're kind of squeamish about your left tackle.
Oof.
Right. So that's going to be
the defense looks good though.
Defense. Oh man, the
defense looks really good.
Defense is great. So I mean, they brought in a bunch of transfers. The kid who's the transfer from Michigan. What's his name? Goodice.
Yeah,
Dominic Goodice, I think. Man, they're putting him every place. Yeah. They got him at right guard. They have him as backup center. They have him at left guard now when they move Caden out. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be something that you hope kind of solidifies by the start of the season. Although they got 6 home games to open it up, and not necessarily, the LSUs or the Texas of the world.
Yeah.
So they should be able to work out. But man, that defense, you're absolutely right. Really, really good. Marquise Grayseal from St. Charles High School. He's a kid who, nobody really knew about. I knew about him. I put him out there as like one of the top 3 kids in the state way back when. Saw him the first time at Lindenwood Camp when he was like a freshman, going to be a sophomore. And you could see, and he was skinny back then. But then he grew in by his like sophomore, junior year into like a 6'4", 290-pound tight end. Right?
They're all tight ends. Right.
And right. I'm like that, that dude is very Sheldon Richardson-ish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, great comparison.
Yeah. And so that's what I saw. And then all of a sudden, Texas, of all places, pops up and offers him. And so he got a bunch of offers. He could have went pretty much every place, but he stayed home, kind of a, home guy, family oriented. But he's making a move. Sterling Webb. Yeah. He's out there. Of course, Chris McClellan up there, probably the starting nose, but really good. And a guy who actually, I don't know if you heard, but Drink mentioned by name, Dayton Hopkins.
Huh.
Yeah.
Huh.
Go ahead.
I think we know about that one.
Right, go ahead.
I think you could go back to like one of our very first shows. We were interviewing him. He was still talking about baseball.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Right? Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He's talking about playing catcher. But I ran into him when I was down at the Mizzou camp this summer. And, he had been at our facility like 2 weeks prior to that. That was his last day with Coach Rayshawn Golden. He was training with them. And a quick plug for Ray. I mean, he had him ready. Like, I mean, just meticulous. I mean, handwork, footwork. But he's a kid who keeps growing and he's getting longer. Like, you put that weight on him, like JP.
Yeah.
I'm talking to him. This is like 3 months ago. I was like, hey, man, like, you need to start getting a little bit of weight, like at 220, 225.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing, nutrition wise, all that, and he's like,
he's just a naturally
dude,
lean.
He was not even taking protein, right? So then he started talking about, like, I was like, well, they're going to have you on creatine. They're going to have you on all different kinds of stuff when you get up there, making sure your nutrition's right. You might as well get a head start. Well, by the time he left, he was 240.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm sure he's going to be. So wait till that dude is 275.
Yeah. Oh, without question.
And he's long and athletic, but his punch with those long arms is. But he seems as though you feel like someone falls into it and they just love where they're at.
Yeah.
He is loving it. And so those guys perform the best when you feel comfortable where you're at.
And that's it.
You feel loved, right? You got your head coach mentioning you. That is a good place to be.
And he has such a great mindset. He's such a laid back, just cool, calm about everything. Doesn't take anything too seriously. Never. I've never seen him. He's always upbeat and happy and just smile on his face and takes everything in stride. And you're right, because and he's another one invited to the combine, right? He was coming into elite, and mom wasn't sure. Mom messaged me. She's like, "Gonna try to get him there, but he's got baseball practice." I'm like, "Look, look. Here's the thing. I want to tell. I'm going to give you some free advice here. You want him to play? You want him to have his college paid for? I'm like, get him to the combine.
Yeah, because
that's his future.
that was a jumping off point for him. That was you get verified height, weight. You get all the verifieds, right? All the stuff that now people are looking at. And again, that's what I don't think people quite understand. When by the way, news break, March 14th, 2026.
Ooh,
combine.
Woo, man.
Mark your calendars.
It hasn't even started. Look at that. Look at that.
We already got it set.
It's ahead of the game.
It's already set. So I think that's a record time, JP.
I think so too.
So, but yeah, we got that set. We're ready to roll with that. We'll have a youth combine in February again.
Nice.
Just again. So, but yeah, I think guys that when you come in and you have coaches start kind of fawning over you and telling you things and they giving you information, we're not doing that to bilk your pocket. Like, listen, we have lots of kids that we train. You have lots of guys to evaluate.
Yep.
We're not going to just start telling you things to tell you things. Like, and you were talking about this a couple weeks ago. The number of people that I have given advice to that, like, and I'm telling you, like, my motive, your motive are clean. Like, I'm not telling you these things to, line my pocketbooks. Like, listen, I've been doing this for a long time. I'm blessed to get to do what I get to do on a daily basis. I know you are as well.
Yep.
Like, you don't survive doing what we do by giving people bad advice and screwing them over. You don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can't last doing that. And I watch person after person that pops up that understands very little about the process, that are experts, and they give expert advice with novice level experience, and parents will buy it because it's like they're getting sold hard, and they want that. They want someone to give them that extra love, which I don't do.
We're not carnival barkers. No, we're not. We don't sell, out there selling stuff. We're not. In fact, we're horrible self-promoters. Horrible self-promoters. But I wish people knew everything behind the scenes you and I have done to help. And I've actually was talking to a coach. A coach, called me up and was talking to me about it. And they've got a player, and they're like, we want to go with you because we know you're trusted and you help. Right.
There are did you see there was a lawsuit that was down in somewhere in Virginia or somewhere? A guy was taking basically a coach, youth football coach, which there's tons of these guys that have popped up now.
Oh yeah.
That was literally taking money from a person to do a highlight film and promote their child. And then he was going to get him game day visits, and I'm going to get you here. He got him for $20,000. Okay. Wow. The guy, this parent finally is like, wait a second, this is all like empty promises. And then bam, all of a sudden, like he turns him in, and it finds out, I think the guy's been doing it to other people. But again, that guy probably started out with a decent motive saying, oh, I could do this and this and that. But no, you're not paying somebody to get you a game day visit, because like if you're doing here's a news flash: train, develop, lift, run, eat, be around the right people, get the right sequence of stuff on your highlight film, put the right film out there, all those things, promote yourself effectively to high school, you're through your high school coach, and then on your own. All those things need to happen. And then, oh, by the way, the game day visits will come if you merit that at that level. You don't, it's not something that's facilitated by another person that's going to, like you and I can't sell someone who has not put the work in.
Right.
We can't sell someone that does not possess something that these schools need. It's not worth it.
You're never going to see me write anything using AI, right, ChatGPT about some kid who's undeserving just because I want to sell you something for $10,
JP,
right, to look at. Little Johnny's look great. Look at, he made it.
I was looking at a ranking site.
Yeah.
Remain nameless. Mm-hmm. And I was explaining to a person, I was like, look, okay, so what happens is you put your stuff in there, and it's a paid ranking, one of these paid ranking ones.
Yeah.
So for quarterbacks and receivers and other people like that. And I'm telling you, when you give them the money up front, they rate your child, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, what they do is they don't do it all that often. They have too many people that are in there. So like what you went in as like a 6th grader, you're still as a 9th grader, kind of that same thing. Yeah. You've maybe bumped up a few points, right? But not much because it's lazy.
Yeah.
Okay. And I was explaining to the dad because he was excited where his kid was. I said, hey, do not put much stock in this. This means nothing.
No, and I do ranking stuff. I'll tell you, it means nothing.
Okay. So JP, I showed him, I pulled up the class of 2026 kids from our area, right? The same kid was on there with 2 separate profiles, same name, same everything, 2 completely different ratings.
Sure. Yeah.
Wait a second. But I clicked both the same highlight films, both the same height and weight, and they ranked him separately, different times, completely different rankings.
Yeah.
Like 5 or 6 spots different from each other.
Left hand doesn't know what the right's doing.
So again, and the dad looked at it, he's like, oh, yeah. I said, so
out, man.
I said, so now you know, don't put much stock in it because nobody that matters puts any stock in it.
No.
Right?
No.
And you're like, to your point though, but you get like a Prep Red Zone ranking, right? I tell you, you start to look at who those guys are that they rank.
Going to be the most accurate.
Well, you want to know why? I'll tell you why. If you start to look at those guys, go look at the 26s, and then look when they were freshmen.
Yeah.
Those guys that are guys are on there are still guys because they're guys. They were guys
identified
then.
Early, right?
And
by somebody who knows.
Okay, JP, but how do you get identified? You get identified why? By going to stuff in the off season, showing up where you're supposed to show up at the right places so people can view you, being at the Linden Woods, getting your verified heights, your weights, all that stuff.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
man, we'll pick up on that point next time. Anything you got to say? Want to push? Want to?
No, I would just tell you, elitefootball.net, and then also our getoffered.com for the recruiting. If you can get some more recruiting advice.
Run out of time. FanFest Lindenwood football is this Saturday, 5 o'clock to 7, free practice, and then meet the team, autograph stuff from 7:15 to 9. Check that out. You definitely want to do it. Football 360 show been great as always. Check us out. Our social media is on the screen right there. JP Rock MO on X, JP Rock Scout You on Instagram.
Elite Football on X and Elite Football Academy on Instagram.
And check us out Saturday mornings, KLIS, LouInfo.com, your Lou Info station. Everybody have a safe week, and we'll talk to you next time. See ya.